Welcome, everyone. Season 5, episode 3, and we are going to
Murcia.
My name is Laura Senior Garcia, and
I'm Nalini Sharma, co-host. So we're in 2026. And yeah, this is super exciting. We made a trip out to Murcia.
So I think a lot of people may not know Murcia as a kind of destination. I think for some people in the UK, yes.
But it is well worth a visit. So you have Murcia, the capital, but you also have the autonomous region. So that's actually, it's a large geographical area when you draw out the map. But we went to the capital, the city of Murcia.
Exactly. Now, when you look at the map, going to what Nalini said, I think it's always interesting, kind of to find your bearings.
Yes.
You have the Valencian community on the coast. Then you have in between the Valencian community and the Andalusian or La Comunidad Andalucía, you have Murcia. So that's that piece.
It's like the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, basically between the different ones.
But before we get into our day trip to Murcia and our recommendations and our experience, I'm going to read out a listener email. Okay, so here it is. Hi, guys. Love listening to your show, especially The Slice of Life. You both seem to have such a great time on your trips, which we do. What are your top packing tips? I have a trip planned to Spain next April and would rather not look so obviously touristy. Any advice? And that's from Carol, and she's from Brighton. So, Carol, thank you so much for engaging with us. We love doing our Slice of Life because it's I think a snapshot into our our experiences, our daily life, what we live, what we learn. And I think we've learned a lot about travel and packing and travel tips. So Carol does not want to look like a tourist.
Carol, wouldn't we all? So many times when I'm out and about and I'm like, can you tell me where this is? I'm like, darn it. I really don't like looking like a tourist anywhere I go. Right. And actually, one of the things that really bothers me when I kind of get an Airbnb and you're kind of pulling on a suitcase and everybody's looking at you like, oh, stupid tourist. Yeah. But it is...
It is what it is.
Yeah, Airbnb is a great way to travel. And by the way, I think that, kind of mentioning for 1 second, we do get a lot of engagement on socials. And we did recently make a post about Cadiz and Gibraltar. So 2 things I want to bring up about that. And then we're going to go straight into Carol's answer. Number 1, we will go to Gibraltar sometime in 2026. So this year.
Shout out Gibraltar.
Yes. I was accused of having a blonde moment because the monkeys don't live everywhere in Gibraltar. They're just up the rock. So it's okay. We can be corrected, but we'll go and check it out for ourselves. So thank you, everyone that commented on Gibraltar. And then the reason I bring this up around the connection with the tourist piece and not looking like a tourist, there is a lot of conversation going on online about, like we can't take any more tourists and no more tourists come here and this kind of thing. But the reality is that is a very small minority. Most people will tell you, please come, please visit, be respectful, and spend money, in the kind of local economy.
Well, because if tourists did not come here, Spain, if you look at any sort of travel data, it is one of the most visited countries in the world. Mm-hmm. So tourism is, I think tourism is welcomed here. I think you have that very sort of niche minority. And if you listen to what they're complaining about, I understand their complaints. However, the complaint is not against the tourists that come and bring their dollars. It's really more against the government.
Yes, it's about the government not regulating accessible housing, right? All of those things. So don't believe the hype is what I'm trying to say. Is like not. People are very welcoming here, and in most places they love sharing about their culture.
They love it.
We saw it with Cadiz.
We see it everywhere, actually. Everywhere we go.
100%. And online, if you go and check out that post, there's people educating us about all the wonderful things about Cádiz that we had no idea about, or Nalini may have read some stuff, but a lot of it was definitely news to me. So please, as we, develop different topics and share different cities, engage with us on socials, make sure you
Ask
share,
questions.
comment, exactly, just like Carol. So let's go back to Carol's question.
Right. She doesn't want to look so glaringly touristy on her trip here. And she's coming in April. So what would your top tips be for Carol?
I think the biggest thing is here, I don't think we have a huge culture of dressing up like super fancy or anything like that. But the tourists will definitely very quickly stand out when they are too dressed down.
Right. Exactly.
So the moment you've got, your Birkenstocks, or what do you call them? The Jesus sandals.
The sandals. Those with the straps? A lot of straps.
And please, especially if you're wearing those sandals with white socks.
I can't help you. I cannot help you.
People still do that.
I mean, listen, I always say,
free planet.
To each their own. But that's not Carol.
Carol.
No.
Don't wear sandals with white socks, because it's not a good look. So that's one thing. And the other thing as well is I would almost tend to go for medium high in terms of dress.
Right.
Instead of medium low. So
exactly.
That's definitely going to make you fit in more. Specifically, not so much for where we live, because this is a very, very, very dressed down area.
Yes.
But Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Valencia, I would err on the side of dressing up instead of dressing down. It's not, it's not like you're in Miami or in the Caribbean and, everybody's wearing kind of sandals and
flip-flops and you have beach attire. But also I think it's really respectful that if you go even from the beach to a restaurant, you throw on a nice little, it doesn't need to be fancy, but also just a respectful, I think, classier cover up that you cover kind of, your bits to sit down on at a table.
No need to show your bits hanging out.
Right. Just like to be a little bit elevated, classier. And I think the people that work in these places and the establishments, I think they do notice it. And
of course. And then there's the colors too.
Right.
Like, again, so with all respect to our wonderful Dutch and British listeners, the moment you wear anything super bright here, that's the first thing that someone Spanish will say, they look holandeses, or,
I see. Okay, interesting.
So like bright,
really bright,
the bright orange, bright yellow, those are not colors that people would normally wear here.
Right. And there is a certain style aesthetic from different cities that you go to. So if anytime that we go to Madrid, you automatically change the way that you dress. Like, it's automatic. I would not wear the same thing here on a day-to-day basis that I would in Madrid.
People
never
dress up a little more.
They do dress up.
One thing that I think is a piece to always bring with you that is always going to be adequate is a blazer.
Yes.
A light blazer or a trench coat is always going to do really well here. And obviously a good pair of jeans and light trousers like linen, cotton. And I would say this is very much a personal choice and people should wear what they're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. But I think I would always err on the side of feeling overdressed and more elegant than underdressed and my butt cheeks hanging out.
Yeah.
Which is like, by the way, not uncommon for a lot of tourists.
Or socks in a backpack, which is not a good combination in any country. I'm just going to put that out there. But.
Yes. So I know we're sounding like super judgy right now, but
no. It's
easy
just if you listen, we've gone places where you end up looking very touristy and you don't want to. You sort of want to blend in, but sometimes you don't really know what the vibe is until you've gone to that city and the just that little aesthetic that locals might have. Obviously you can't create it perfectly, but you can at least get close to it.
And I think people just appreciate it. Like you said, I think they appreciate,
absolutely.
I know when I'm with my family and I see like a lady particularly, I have to say, I think we hold like lower standards for men when it comes to
Yes, I
like
think so
dress
too.
code. You see a lady walk in and she's like dressed nice, independent of her age.
Right.
You're like, oh, look how nice she's dressed, and
Yeah.
you just kind of like,
There's like an elegance to it.
yes, and
Yeah.
there's an appreciation. It's like you are
Absolutely.
showing up, so
And-
that would be my advice for Carol.
I would say also for the footwear, you have to be very cognizant when you travel to Europe that if you plan on wearing high heels, I would say in almost any European city, you're going to break your ankle. Like it is going to happen. You're going to fall.
Cobblestones are a thing.
Cobblestones, and they're everywhere. And even the sidewalk itself that's smooth is slippery. It's so, okay, don't wear the strappy sandals, those like Birkenstocky sandal things.
A
But
lot of times,
wear something cute.
yeah, for sure.
That's flat.
A lot of times, when Nalini and I have both experienced this, the taxi or the Uber or whatever method of transport you're taking cannot take you all the way
to your destination.
So you have to do some walking.
You have to. And sometimes it's uphill. Sometimes they're ancient steps. They're short, these little steps that are quite, shallow steps that you have to go up, which is not hard, but they're stone or they're rock and they're slippery and they're smooth. And maybe you've had a glass of wine and not the ideal situation. So I always tell people, listen, if you're traveling to Europe in the summer and you're planning to do a lot of walking, just get a really cute, simple, it doesn't have to be expensive, clean, like white sneaker that you can wear with your jeans, a dress, something that's just simple and you feel confident and it's comfortable. And then my other tip always is that a black dress that you can throw with little straps. It's kind of loose and flowy, but you can still put a belt on it. You can maybe throw a blazer on it
dress
in the evening. Up. Yeah. You can wear it to the beach as a cover up. You are not going to go wrong with it and you will fit in pretty much anywhere you go.
And leave space for shopping.
Exactly. Yeah. And your other tip that we were talking about is do not bring something that's aspirational. Don't bring clothes that don't fit you because you think you're going to fit into it, or don't pack something that you would never wear in the first place because you think, oh, I'm going to wear this on vacation. If you haven't worn it before, you're not wearing it on vacation. It's a waste of suitcase space. So yeah, I would say those are the answers for Carol. And if anybody wants to get in touch with us, Laura.
Made in Spain podcast, hola at the Made in Spain podcast.com.
Right.
So hola at madeinspainpodcast.com and our socials at the Made in Spain podcast, especially TikTok and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you or leave a comment wherever you're listening. Subscribe and follow. We really, really do appreciate our listeners.
All right. So let's get into Murcia. Do you want to lead this for us?
Can I just say that it was so funny at the beginning of my husband moving here, he kept referring to this place called Murcia, and I was like, "Are you kind of joking right now?" And saying like America, and then finally I figured out
Murcia.
It was Murcia, because obviously we see a lot of signs to go to Murcia when we're driving up to the airport. But no, go ahead, Nalini, introduce us to this wonderful place that is Murcia.
Okay, so it is a bit of an interior. We talked about this. There's a region, but the city itself is in the interior. Mm-hmm. So it is just because of its location, the actual city, in terms of food, drink, entertainment, housing, tends to be a little bit less. Because if you live in the center of Murcia, you're not getting a sea view. But however, the region itself has a coastline, which is the Mar Menor.
Yes.
I have never been there, but it is a saltwater lagoon. Is that true?
Yeah, I've been there multiple times, so lots of golf.
Okay.
So for those who like to golf, lots of options, very accessible, affordable.
Right.
Golfing destination, a lot of secondary homes for a lot of people, which is great. And yes, there is this kind of like salt lagoon. There's a lot of salt produced because of the calmness of the sea there. So, and as Nalini mentioned, I do think the city itself is one thing, but then you have all the surrounding little towns.
Yes.
There's Lorca, there's an amazing castle there. I don't know if they still hold this title, but there's a little town in Murcia called Ojos, which apparently had like at one point, I remember reading this years ago, highest consumption of beer per capita.
Oh.
It was just, I thought was really interesting. But this was a long time ago. I don't know if they still hold this title. But yeah, Murcia's got a lot to offer.
Okay, now it is known as La Huerta de Europa.
Yes. So
it's the Orchard of Europe.
Yes, the Orchard of Europe. Lots and lots of vegetables.
Fresh produce. Very
fresh produce. So what were some of the things that you noticed when we went to the city the other day?
I would say it's a really surprisingly cute place to go, and it's very traditional. So, and this is what I think we discovered going to a town such as Murcia. You can experience a real taste of Spanish life in a very authentic way on an incredibly easy budget.
Yeah, it's less expensive.
Way less expensive.
Than Barcelona, Madrid.
Exactly. So if your goal is, you're traveling here and your goal is to, I don't know, you want to see the highlights. Mm-hmm. Okay, I totally understand that. But if you choose maybe to skip that and you head to a town such as Murcia, a city really, it has 500,000 people. It is actually, the population is quite decent for the region. But you have the cathedral in the center of the city. We happened to go during the Christmas season, and it was very festive. A lot of stores are decorated quite beautifully. They have a red carpet that actually leads to the cathedral. And
we thought the red carpet was
just
out
for us. We're like, look at
we're visiting Murcia. Oh, look, they have the red carpet out.
They have a university. And Murcia also has an international airport that flies to
the UK.
I think it does fly to maybe a couple of other destinations within Europe, and of course, obviously throughout Spain. So it has an airport you can fly in and out of if you need to.
It is interesting because the airport in Murcia is actually quite close to the one in Alicante.
Right.
So, but they do have direct flights, like you said, and some of them very inexpensive. The one thing I will say as well, like you said, if you're looking for more of a destination where it's not going to be very touristy, I think Murcia is the way to go, because you're not going to be seeing a ton of tourists at, let's say, the cathedral or the restaurant, etc. Nalini asked the gentleman at the door who was an art historian.
Right, at the cathedral.
At the cathedral, does Mass get busy? He said, oh yeah, like Mass is really busy. So it is a functioning church
for the people of the city itself. They do in the cathedral that's in the center of the city itself is, it's almost like we did a little research that it's existed since am I correct in saying the 1200s?
I think just looking at our research here, I think they finished it in 1394.
Okay.
I seem to recall, but they were building it for 400 years.
Right. And like any church in any part of Europe, you've had pillaging,
all kinds of
fires. Different religions have ruled the country. They've been kicked out. They've come back. The Christians have reconquered it. So Murcia has that history behind it. But the church itself is quite spectacular. It's it's a huge church. It's not, La Sagrada, what you would find in Barcelona. I understand that. But if you're going for an experience where you want to see something that is authentic, accessible, I would say this is a great way to go. We were outside of maybe 3 or 4 people when we went in to the actual cathedral. We were the only other people in there. It's a very special experience. We were the only people in there.
And the energy is overpowering inside.
Absolutely.
Because again, the way it's built and when it's quiet like that, it's very special. Sorry, so let's go back on the actual data, because if not, we'll get eaten alive. Yeah. Started in 1394. So 1394 is when it started.
Right.
And not fully completed until the 18th century. So that's where your 400 years come from.
Right.
One thing that was very cool is that they have this collection that you walk through. It's like chapels. Is that the way you say it? Like little... capillas, which is basically
The confessionals.
not the confessionals. Like
I see what you're saying.
It's a chapel.
It's almost as if the cathedral itself is a museum.
It is.
Because, that is how you could describe it. Because in each area, they have things that they've collected from other cathedrals, churches from different parts of Spain or around Europe that they have on display there.
Yes.
So, it's a cathedral, but also a museum.
It is a cathedral and a museum. If you go for mass and you're going like at prayer time, there isn't a fee to enter.
Yes.
If you go at times that are for the museum visit, there's a very small fee that I think is very worth it. If you're
it's €5 to get in.
It's like €5 to get in. So the big mix is Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque, as well as like neoclassic. And when you start going around the cathedral, it actually is in order of these different artistic periods.
Yes.
Very, very clearly reflected in the paintings and very clearly reflected in the style of furniture of that particular, like, let's say, capsule collection of each one of
That's a good way to
churches.
put it. It is sort of like a capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, like Nalini said, is that, and this is one of the things I love about us doing this podcast, I mentioned to someone in my family the other day, we went to Murcia and we went into the cathedral. And I have to say, I don't think I would have ever gone in there if it wasn't that we were doing research and wanting to experience this for the podcast.
Right.
And my aunt, actually, who I was talking to about this, said, isn't that sad that we will not go and do things that are accessible, the history behind something like that. But people will come in from other parts of the world. So I will say, I think this Catedral de Santa Maria is absolutely worth a visit.
100%.
It's gorgeous. And again, if you go to the Sagrada Familia, yes, you're going to have an interesting experience, but it's going to be along thousands of other people.
Right.
Whereas here, as Nalini said, you're going to get very unique, almost like individualized experience.
Also, you're going to see something that a lot of people wouldn't typically travel to and see. And it's not,
the paintings are unreal.
Honestly, and you can do a tour. I think they have tours as well.
I think the guided tour was only like €3 more.
Yeah, we didn't do it. We just went in for our own little experience, but that was fantastic. And the way the how it's actually situated is that you have all the streets kind of, it's in the center, so you can just take any of the streets in Murcia and find find a restaurant or a little place to sit and have a drink or a cocktail or a coffee. I'd say the coffee scene is pretty good there as well.
Yeah,
they have some really nice coffee bars. We'll talk about our food in the slice of life.
So, Nalini, you got to tell us about the casino.
Okay, the casino, which is on one of the main streets leading right to the to the cathedral. So, as we're walking in, we had done some research, and I saw that there's the Murcia Casino. We thought it was a casino. Right?
I was hoping to have a game of blackjack when we get there, but
so I'm taking some footage outside, just like doing a little video, and Laura, you guys had gone in, and she's like, "Are you coming in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming in." So we go in and we walk up, and it turns out it's not an actual casino; it is a social club. So it's very interesting. The architecture inside, it is from the Moors, right? And the little bit of research that we managed to kind of extrapolate is that when the Moors ruled Spain, they put little alhambras around the country. So that's a little slice of the,
Alhambra.
The Arabic rule of Spain in this, town that's really in the interior. So I started asking the lady, who said, "Oh, can we come in?" So you can pay to get in. I think it's €5 again. And they have all these rooms on the bottom floor where, there's like a dining room, or they have the ladies' room. It's just sort of historical areas. But they also have the traditional, Arabic courtyard. It's a really stunning building on the inside that you would not even think is there.
And it's beautifully preserved.
It's from the mid-1800s. They've added onto it over the years, and they've had to obviously upkeep it. But the actual membership, the social club, you have to become a member.
Which I thought that was really interesting because I think that's probably one of the, I remember social clubs for kind of older people who wanted to play like dominoes and bridge and, petanca ages ago. But I haven't actually walked into a place that was a social club since I can remember.
And it's stunningly beautiful when you walk in. I mean, yeah, you feel as if you are in the Alhambra. So I was very fascinated by this membership and I tried to look it up online. I found bits of information. You go on the website, you can download the form, put in your application. But I wanted to know what the cost was and what the process is. So I phoned the casino, which I don't really know why they call it a casino, but
I still don't quite understand that, but there must be a reason.
There's no gambling there.
No, they play chess.
Chess.
But
she said that's the only
they're
thing
not gambling over their chess games.
No, it's chess that they play. So she phoned me back and she said she was very cute on the phone. She was very helpful. She said, okay, I am going to use words in English I've never used before, but let's try together to figure out your question. And my question simply was, what does a membership cost? So she told me the initiation fee is about 1,800 euro, and then you pay 49 euro per month after that for access to this social club. If you are a member, you first of all, you put in the application, the board of directors approves you or doesn't approve you. You pay your fees, which, by the way, your initiation can be paid over several installments.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
They're trying to make it not super exclusive.
Right. And then you pay your monthly fee that allows you access to the club. They have a billiards room, a smoking room, which I didn't really know it still existed.
Like cigar smoking?
I think maybe they have a movie area. And also I think they have a sommelier, they have a bar, they have a restaurant. It's a very curated experience for the people, you don't need to be from that area. You can be from outside of it as well. But I thought, what an interesting establishment here, and opposite, you walk outside, you have this incredible building with this incredible history and this tradition, and you come outside and there's a Popeye's chicken.
Yeah. Popeye's chicken and Alahab.
It is so jarring it's the old with the new, and I have no problem with it. It's just it's a funny observation.
Next, so 2026, Nalini's going to try and join the casino in Murcia.
Don't even laugh because I was called.
Application coming soon.
But what an interesting
fascinating
thing for that city. And
I just want to know if there's women in it as well. I think it just sounds...
I don't think it's just for men.
No, but I think all the activities that you mentioned
are,
like cigar smoking and billiards. I don't know. Like, yes, there may be some women there, but I'd be curious to see that. Okay, should we share some fun facts about the city?
Yes, absolutely.
So a few of the little kind of quirky facts you could say is they have this very kind of famous festivity called Entierro de la Sardina, burial of the sardine. Mm-hmm. I would say pretty wild parade and very relative to ancient mythology. Okay. And it literally entails like burning a giant sardine.
Or like a real sardine?
No, not a real sardine, but I think it's like a wood sardine or paper mache. Okay. So kind of think fires, but weirder. So we'll look into that more. And it is part of a really big spring festival. So it's actually close in the time of fires. The Holy Week that we went to Granada for, the Easter processions in Murcia are very, very famous as well. Okay. There is a strong religious community there, and they're not far from Orihuela. That is also a place where a lot of people study theology. Yes. And we did walk past the University of Theology there. So it's definitely a lot of religious undertone. The other thing as well is they are one of the biggest producers of paprika.
Right, yeah.
Which
very interesting.
No idea about before we kind of started researching for the episode. And it's very high quality paprika and used a lot in Spanish cooking, including making paella.
We should have stopped at one of those stores to buy
I know, right?
We didn't. So what was your overall take of it?
I think Murcia is worth exploring and worth taking a few days to go downtown to stay at La Manga. There are very different hotel offers depending
Right.
if you're staying downtown or if you're going to some of the little towns.
Yes.
And I think it's a good place that you could potentially spend like 5 days and go see the smaller towns, get a good beach experience, visit the city. Golf, lots of stuff, and maybe bump into Carlos Alcaraz while you're there.
And I've actually read an article. I don't know if it was for maybe ESPN or maybe one of the English Sky Sports or something, where the reporter went to Murcia to look for Carlos Alcaraz in his hometown. And he said the experience was just like super funny because everybody knows him, and they're super happy to show like, look, this is where he went to school, and this is where his family used to live, and this is where he used to practice.
This is where they eat Sunday lunch. Yeah,
but it was and you think, I mean, when you go to the city, I don't know what neighborhood he's from. I have no idea. However,
I think he may be from a town. We'll need to look it up.
We can look it up, but you can see that there's not a lot of distraction there.
No, it's not. It's not like the glitz of Madrid, for example.
No, there's no distraction. So you can kind of see, listen, tennis was probably his thing. And as there's not a lot of distraction, you could really focus on the sport.
So join us in our Slice of Life coming up next to find out about what foods and drinks you may want to try in Murcia.
Yes.
Slice of Life. Slice of Life.
Yay. So what are we having here, Laura?
Pastelitos.
Okay.
This is the one that's kind of shaped like a star.
Right. Okay.
There was an option to buy a much bigger one, but I don't think
should we try it?
So let's try it.
Really good.
What do you think's inside of it?
I think it's kind of like a
orange. Cabello de ángel.
I think it's an orange jam, no?
I think this is what they call angel's hair here.
Oh, okay. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Not like a pasta?
Look, see?
Mm-hmm.
See how it's got like little strands? I think this is what they call angel's hair.
Whatever it is, it's very good. There's this one, and then there's this one as well. Which one is this? I don't know. Super good.
ASMR moment.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what that is, but it's so good.
Oh, so good.
They're sweets. So Murcia, outside of it being very religious, an interesting town, walkable, accessible, etc. There's a great food scene.
There's a tremendous food scene, and it makes sense if you think about all the fresh produce, right? This one definitely has some orange in it, like orange peel or something.
But in the center of the city, it's very funny that you don't see the huge chain grocery stores. They do exist. They're on the outskirts of the town, but you see a lot of shops that sell primarily, well, actually only fruits and vegetables, and that's where people pick up their fresh produce.
I remember that as we walked past the different stores, the citrus smell coming out, like the orange, the lemon, that kind of zesty, beautiful smell that comes out of the stores. I thought it was really cool. We went into this bakery. I just kind of asked, what's typical? I asked for something that I had heard before. She go, okay, you can find that, but that's not going to be good. Like, you have to eat that in the exact moment.
It's a paparajotes.
Paparajote is what it's called. Paparajote. It's a pretty interesting word.
But what is it? And it's that, but that is a dessert that is specific to Murcia.
Yeah. And these are two. Apparently, these pastelitos specifically are very much from Murcia.
Okay.
And again, a lot of the bakeries, super high quality, very, very affordable. There was one that we didn't take with us that I thought was really interesting. She said it was sweet and savory, and it had chicken, egg, and jam in it. I was like, well, that is different, but we didn't get that.
We skipped that one.
Yeah.
But in the actual bakery that we were in, I don't know, it wasn't busy. It was just us in there, and the town was actually very quiet. We were there on a Tuesday afternoon. But if you stop and you ask questions, they are so happy to walk you through the 55 desserts that they have on display. They work so hard to make the space so beautiful they want people to ask questions and they want to share the information. So if you visit a town that's maybe a little bit off the beaten path, ask questions.
Most people take pride in sharing things about their work and sharing things about where they come from. You know, not everything is what's on social media. The other thing as well, that's always interesting to me. A lot of times we end up having the best experiences when we just walk in somewhere instead of going to TripAdvisor and again, no knock on those sites. They're extremely helpful. I use them all the time.
Me too.
But sometimes it can be a bit misleading because, for example, in Murcia, okay, there's so many little tapas places. Maybe you only go to the ones that have like 4 or 5 stars, but then it ends up not making sense. Like once you're in there, you're like, oh, you know, this place only had 3 stars, but it was a superb experience. So
just walk around. Where you see a crowd, go in that place.
Exactly.
Because it means it's local people and it's going to be good. If the locals are going to it, it's going to be good.
This is not your New York queue scene, as they call it, because, you know, every weekend, because something's blown up on socials, there's a queue outside for pancakes or for XYZ. So I would really recommend, like Nalini said, just go out and experience it. And sometimes it's just worth it not actually having a plan of where you're going to eat. If it's a very crowded place and then you need a reservation, but if not, just allow yourself to experience it.
I read that the typical tapa in Murcia is the matrimonios.
Yeah.
Which does not really appeal to me, but it is
then
very
you have
typical.
the marinero and the marinera.
Yes.
So ensaladilla rusa, which we featured in a couple of episodes ago, which is like a potato salad with tuna, etc., etc. But from Murcia, it is a specific way to prepare it.
Right.
And one thing that I think is really funny is they do this marinero and marinera. Marinera is the typical one,
right?
Where you have the little rosquita, you have the ensaladilla, and you have an anchovy
on the top. And that's the anchovy that's cured in oil.
Right. And when you say anchoa, it's la anchoa, it's feminine.
Right.
Therefore, that's why it's called marinera.
Ah, okay. Good lesson. And now the other one is still the anchovy on the top, but it's cured
in vinegar.
In vinegar. So it's a bit of a different flavor.
Very different flavor and very different look. The anchovy is kind of dark brown and the boquerón is white. So the boquerón, because don't ask me why, it's el boquerón, la anchoa. So el boquerón, that's why it's called a marinero.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's like the male version, you know, of this. And that's why it's called marinero and marinera. That's the distinction.
And the matrimonio is the two of them together. The two. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's apparently very typical in Murcia. So you have the anchovy and you have the boquerón together. Just those two together.
That's so funny.
So
we
it's a marriage.
saw that on the menu the other day. I didn't know what it was. But
That's
I was like,
the marriage between the two anchovies.
That's so funny. That's like someone must have been getting really creative, you know, like male tapa, female tapa, and together they make a little marriage.
Yeah, but Murcia is known for its tapa culture.
Oh,
you can
huge.
do a little tapas crawl around if you wanted the cathedral or just in the center there. And they also have international food. We saw Indian restaurants,
all of it.
Asian, fusion, sushi. You can find pretty much everything there, but
anything that I think you're looking for, like fresh produce.
Right.
Again, because it's not as touristy, the places that are well established, it means because people keep coming back.
Right.
When you have so much offer and you have, you know, the really nice fresh oysters and shrimp and this and that.
And we had the scallops.
Yes, tamburiñas.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of like a scallop. I've never actually been able to.
It's not. It's smaller.
It's smaller and it has this red part.
Right.
That's like a female scallop or something like that. Tamburiña.
It was just the guts.
I don't know what it is, but it's really good.
It's just the guts of the scallop that we ate. That's fine. But it actually tastes really nice.
Yes.
So highly recommend Murcia for if you want the traditional aspect of it, the cathedral, if you want to, just be.
The castle in Lorca as well is really nice.
Which we didn't have time to go to, but keep in mind.
I actually went there for a concert once, and they do concerts in the summer, and it's amazing because it's like outside and the sound's really good.
Actually, I did want to mention that sometimes when I'm looking in the summer and you'll see concert dates come up, Murcia is a destination for mainstream artists. Maybe not, like a Marilyn Manson, but still, you have Bryan Adams, ZZ Top, you've had Lionel Richie there, you've had...
They do all kinds of festivals and stuff.
Festivals as well. They actually have a really decent reggaeton festival there. And the tickets are, if you look at somebody's concert travel dates, the tickets in Murcia are always the least expensive.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me. I would think it would maybe be more simply because there are less seats or the arena or stadium is smaller, but they're actually
big arenas there.
They're less money.
Yeah, they have some big arenas as well because they have a big soccer team.
Yes.
And they have like a big stadium, La Nueva Condomina. So
I would highly recommend checking it out for even if you go in the spring, summer, there's great concerts. And thanks to Murcia for giving us a lovely afternoon.
Yes, 100%. So coming up, we're going to be doing a lot of exploring, and we're going back into one of our core topics around fashion and manufacturing, as well as beauty in Spain. So really excited that you're coming along on this journey with us. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share, as well as engage with us. We love to hear from you.
All right. Should we do the sentence of the day?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so this one is related to, we've talked quite a bit about tourism and how, actually going to Carol's question. A donde fueres, haz lo que vieres.
Okay. Where you go out.
A donde fueres.
Where you go out. What's the second part? Tell me.
Haz lo que vieres.
Where you go out is where you are.
Okay, so this is about a donde fueres, like wherever you go,
right?
Do what you see.
Okay.
Almost there.
Almost. Oh, I'm going to get there.
So it's kind of like respect the culture of the places that you're going to. A donde fueres, haz lo que vieres. So you know what? If everybody is wearing a t-shirt, maybe it's a good idea to wear a t-shirt.
Right.
So a donde fueres, haz lo que vieres is kind of like respect the local tradition, the local culture of where you're going.
That's great advice.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So lots to look forward to as we, move through 2026. And, thanks for coming along on this journey.
Bye.
Bye for now.